Today I'm presenting our ongoing work as part of the eHTA platform team on a review of frameworks on early health technology assessment and their application to the nanomedicine field. So what is health technology assessment, or eHTA, as I will probably call it from now on? So traditional eHTA is actually a multidisciplinary process that includes not only health, but also economics, social, and ethical dimensions. And it has the goal of determining the value of health technologies to inform decision-making. Now, limited healthcare budgets and the rapid pace of development of new technologies have led to a widespread adoption of eHTA, which is usually applied at later stages of product development. So specifically, traditional eHTA is applied after phase 2 clinical trials have started. That's levels 7 to 9 using the technology readiness level scale. And at this point, there's more available information on the technology under analysis, but at the same time, investors and researchers have already put substantial time and resources into the technology. So there's therefore increasing interest in applying eHTA earlier in the product development pathway from when the scientific knowledge base is being reviewed, that's level 1 in the technology readiness level scale, up until more advanced levels of product characterization, but before clinical trials. And early eHTA or eHTA then is going to move the whole process of assessment earlier in the development pathway to inform stakeholders about the potential value of the new medical products that are still in development. And eHTA can be used for a variety of reasons to inform portfolio decisions, target product profile designs, partnerships, clinical trial designs, all of which will ultimately reduce investment risk. And simply put, by providing insights into how to make a technology work, early eHTA can transform product design and improve positioning of the product so that ultimately the technology becomes a better fit for the desired clinical and payer environments. So if early health technology assessment is so great, why is not that widespread? And maybe you have not even heard about it until today. Well, there are multiple barriers for conducting eHTAs. The availability of information at such an early stage of product development, of course, is a key one. Also, there's a lack of awareness about the benefits of eHTA, and there's also limited in-house capacity for conducting early eHTAs. There's also a disconnection between the research and development communities and government-funded eHTA agencies. Unlikely driving all of these factors is a lack of a standard, user-friendly methodological approach and guidelines for conducting early health technology assessment. Now, some challenges in the creation of this unified framework are the highly dynamic nature of the technology development processes and also the differences that exist across technologies. Specifically in the nanomedicine field, additional challenges involve, for example, the existence of platform technologies, the treatment of rare diseases, and the complexity of the care pathways. So for this study, we aimed to summarize the existing literature on early health technology assessment frameworks, and we also explored the applicability of these frameworks to nanomedicine. And by framework, we mean conceptual models that provide a systematic approach to guide evidence generation and synthesis at an early stage of technology development. We conducted a rapid review type of analysis. If you're not familiar, rapid reviews in comparison with systematic reviews streamline knowledge synthesis. They are still rigorous, transparent, and replicable, but they summarize evidence in a more resource-efficient manner. Specifically, we conducted our search using PubMed, Medline, and Embase databases, all available records until February 2022. We included English, French, or Spanish language studies, And we only included frameworks relevant to the preclinical and early clinical, so phase 1 stages of development. From 965 initial records obtained, after duplicates were removed, we screened 737 abstracts. From those, we reviewed 131 full text and finally included 50 articles. Those 50 papers resulted in 45 frameworks. Now, to navigate the particularities of these 45 frameworks, we have grouped them into 3 broad categories. The first one we call checklists or criteria type of frameworks, and those are frameworks highlighting areas of focus or key features to take into account when doing early health technology evaluations, but they do not incorporate suggestions on specific methodologies to conduct. Now, a second group, which we call process type of frameworks, these are the most comprehensive type of frameworks, and they offer stepwise guidance for evidence generation and synthesis, including suggested methodologies, and they also tend to have an overarching goal of supporting decision-making and development. A third group we call tools or methods type of frameworks, and they tend to focus on one specific aspect. Most frequently is product profile selection and or cost effectiveness, and they address the issue at hand with a clear proposed methodology. As you can see, we have frameworks across all of these classifications, most of them on the process and the tools and methods category. So here's a description of the publication by country of publication, a technology type on the right, and year of publication. So most publications were from the UK, followed by the Netherlands, the US, and Germany, and we found no Canadian publications. Most of the frameworks claim applicability to health technologies in general, and there's another subgroup that was designed for specific technologies in mind. Interestingly, 2 of the frameworks we found were designed for specific types of nanotechnologies. As for the timing of the publications, well, it seems to have been a concentration of publications around 2014. Recent interest has resulted in an increase in publications on eHTA frameworks in the last year. Most of the framework we found they did not specify the intended user or the stage of technology development, which we think further complicates their use and their understanding by a wider audience of users. 4 of the frameworks were operationalized through a web-based platform that is open access. 7 of the frameworks are guidance resulting from a review of the literature, and 8 of the frameworks were not exclusively designed for early assessments, but they were used at early stages of product development, and we thought they were equally interesting to include. Now, some messages from our ongoing analysis are first, that existing frameworks use a variety of approaches, and they are not distinguishable based on the specific stage of early technology development. Also, across existing frameworks, emphasis is made on assessing cost effectiveness of the technologies, on reducing uncertainty, and on the continuous integration that's needed of the information along the development pathway. And lastly, building on the gaps in the literature and the needs of those benefiting from early health technology assessment, this review will offer guidance in the development of a framework that is user acceptable and also adaptable to nanomedicine products at an early stage of development. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Elisabet. I am pleased to open the floor to questions from the audience. Please either submit a written question or raise your hands. And to give people a chance to type, I will ask a question. Elisabet, I was curious, you had mentioned that many of these frameworks didn't specify an intended user, but from your experience, who are the most common users of these frameworks?
Thank you, Leah. That's a really good question. I'll answer first, what are the users that can potentially benefit from these frameworks? And I would say those are everyone involved in assessing value of these technologies. So from research centers and research institutions to government and other decision makers and industry, of course. So again, those are the ones that can benefit from it. However, I would say that from our experience in the literature, though most of these publications are likely not out there because of confidentiality reasons, we think early eHTA is mostly being conducted by those having the resources to do so and outsource health economists work. So mostly industry type of papers are the ones that have been published using early health technology assessments.
Great, thank you. And then Marshall, are there any questions?
We have a written question from Diana Royce, who asks, based on your findings, is the Lynd lab the only place in Canada conducting R&D on HTAs or eHTA?
Thank you, Diana. Well, the review, I'll have to say, is focusing on frameworks, not on applications. And on frameworks, we indeed found no publications for Canada. That being said, as I was just commenting to Leah's question, applications we suspect are likely not public because of confidentiality reasons, and companies really not having an incentive maybe to publish this type of work. But from what we've seen, Canada is certainly lagging behind in applications and frameworks on eHTA.
Great, thank you, Elisabet, and thank you, Diana, for the question. And I don't see any other questions, so I'll ask one final one before we move along. How do you anticipate this review will contribute to building an eHTA framework, if possible?
Yes, so this is certainly our first stepping stone to thinking about building a framework, like I said, that's applicable, user-friendly and applicable to nanomedicines technologies. I mean, this has helped us confirm our suspicions that there was actually not a framework that was readily available out there for us to use. And it has, of course, allowed us to identify the gaps, the challenges that exist in order for us to build a framework that, as I said, is user-friendly and can have specific features that we would like to develop in order to be useful for the NMIN community.